Look, if a paddock is ready to go out now, or your second cut, you think it's ready to go, I'd be advising to go cut it now, because the longer you leave it, the more quality will be reduced. So if you leave it another 2 weeks, you're reducing your quality. Another thing then, when you're taking your cuts, then it's important to replace your P&K offtakes. Every 4 bales per acre, it's important then to return 1,000 gallons of slurry per acre then on that paddock, because when you cut silage, 100% of your P and 100% of your K is off-taken. So it's important to replenish your P&K. Another then is kind of spread your slurry now, so utilise your slurry over the next month, get it out on your second cuts then after being cut.
Hello and welcome to the Beef Edge, the Teagasc Beef podcast, for all your latest news, information and advice for Irish beef farmers. I'm Ciaran Egan, and on this joint episode with Ovicast, hosted by Ciaran Lynch, we're joined by grass tin advisor Niamh Doyle to get an update on the current grass situation and to discuss management tips in the coming weeks. Niamh, you're very welcome. Year to date, growth has been very poor. There are a number of factors that have limited growth so far. What do you think they are?
So yes, Ciaran, it has been a very good, difficult year for grazing. So we have to look at the pasture-based Ireland data. Growth is currently 0.75 tonnes of dry matter per hectare, behind the 5-year average. So contributing factors then to this poor growth this year are kind of like lower temperatures, especially at night. You've lower levels of sunshine, that dry, harsh northerly wind, high monthly rainfall levels just to date there in 2024, and then soils are recovering from higher levels of poaching or damage that would have, due to this wet spring. This year, it has brought poor growth, but also has brought, poor utilisation, and pasture quality is down.
Most definitely, Niamh. And in relation to fertiliser, responses varied on farm. Is there a difference in fertilisers that farmers have used and the response they've got?
So, yeah, Ciaran, it has been a difficult year for fertiliser response in terms, just because the reasons above, in terms of the contributing factors that we spoke about earlier. And for nitrogen fertiliser, there's research been done at Johnstown Castle. It has shown similar total grass dry matter yields across fertiliser nitrogen products. Products then that were compared then would have been can urea and protected urea. So there has, it's been similar grass growth, similar grass yield to date across them 3 fertilisers. But however, on farm level then, we're kind of seeing a higher response to compounds, and especially a higher response to slurry.
And that's following the farmers doing their nutrient management plan, having had taken soil samples and following the fertiliser plan on that.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Niamh, if we look at the current situation on farms, look, we've seen a bit of an increase in growth rate in the last 10 days or so, but it is very variable out there. A lot of farmers are still very tight for grass. There's no big covers built ahead of them. What advice do you have for farmers in that situation, or maybe a bit behind with covers?
Yes, Ciaran, I suppose this is happening a lot on farm at the moment. Farmers are tight for grass, or, our poor grass quality has been there. And the most important thing is probably reducing your demand on the farm. So whether this is taking out cull cows, maybe doing an early scan, picking out cows that are empty, culling them. It's about kind of planning if there's animals on the farm, are they going to stay on the farm, or are you planning on selling them? Maybe, selling them now, because like, for example, a 500 kilo animal will eat 10 kilos per day. If you have 10 of them animals, that's going to be 1 bale every 2 days. So, if you could reduce that demand, it'd make an awful lot of difference. Also, in other ways, house kind of heavier cattle, maybe, weigh now and seize your animals you can pull out for finishing. Supplement lambs is another option. Now, it has to be noted that there is many lambs on farm that are light at the moment. So they will be carried on for a longer period of time. So this will affect your demand. Also, then another option is spread your fertiliser. So it's important to get this out in August as soon as possible.
Niamh, you touched on something there, like when we're talking about reducing demand, I suppose we have to be conscious. Animal performance is back this year. You mentioned lambs are back, cattle are probably back a bit as well. Making that assessment and seeing where they are, putting a stab on it and how much longer they're going to be on the farm, because likelihood is we could be carrying a higher demand into the next couple of months.
Yes, exactly. And like, especially if you're short winter feed as well, you don't want to be after carrying these animals over the winter either. So, it's important to be weigh now and review and seize your animals that you can pick out for finishing.
So Niamh, as we're coming into August now, I suppose we need to start thinking about building covers into that back end. We're going into a period where growth rates will typically tail off. If we take that current situation, how can farmers go about building covers now over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, so Ciaran, I suppose it's important that they'd start on time. one key thing will be get your fertiliser out now. As if you got out now, then you'd get another round in by late August. This is you'll still get a good response from fertiliser if you go out now. Also then reduce your demand on farm. So as we spoke about earlier, ways to reduce your demand. Then also splitting your area, so increasing that rest period on paddocks, not grazing low covers then as well, and keeping your rotation length to that 30 days if you can. Also then another way then, supplement now. So for like your meal feeding for your weanlings or your lambs to get the best response out of them now.
So really going with the fertiliser now, Niamh, it's really going to give you an opportunity to go either again in late August and still get a response for that round of fertiliser.
Yes, exactly, Catherine, yeah. So, important to go now if you can.
And second cut silage is being cut out at the moment, and there will be a release for some farmers in that situation. What advice have you for managing those fields and paddocks where second cut silage is being taken out at the moment?
So I suppose, look, if a paddock is ready to go out now, or, your second cut, you think it's ready to go, I'd be advising to go cut it now. Because the longer you leave it, the more quality will be reduced. So if you leave it another 2 weeks, you're reducing your quality. So that's one thing to think of. Another thing then, when you're taking your cuts, then it's important to replace your P&K offtakes. So every 4 bales per acre, it's important then to return 1,000 gallons of slurry per acre then on that paddock. Because when you cut silage, 100% of your P and 100% of your K is off-taken. So it's important to replenish your P&K. Another then is kind of spread your slurry now. So utilise your slurry over the next month. Get it out on your second cuts then after being cut.
And the aftergrass will be of huge benefit to a lot of farms in the coming weeks.
Yes, so the aftergrass then will be important then, and it'll allow you then to extend your grazing season or keep animals out grazing.
Niamh, overall, very little surpluses have been removed on farms so far this year. Farmers completing a fodder budget. How do they fill the deficit if there is one?
So I suppose it's important to maybe reduce your demand as you're coming into your winter. So maybe trying to get animals, finished, or say if you're planning on selling weanlings, not having these animals be carried over the winter. That'll, reduce your demand for silage. Also then start building your grass in the autumn. It'll give you it'll extend your grazing season on this side of the winter period. And then also then is the availability to maybe purchase silage then also, that's an option. So also then, there's time to get fertiliser out. This will allow you then to maybe cut out surpluses, and also then you'd be correcting paddocks then, say paddocks that are gone too stemmy, you could apply fertiliser then and then take off your surplus bales.
Niamh, I suppose if I take a lot of what you've discussed, it's probably highlighting one thing. There's need to really act now on nearly every farm out there and make an assessment of what are the couple of key things we need to do over the coming weeks. So maybe just to summarize, how would you prioritise what the key actions are at the moment?
So it's important to be going out walking your farm at least once a week, completing your fodder budget, to see where you are, if you need to be cutting out surpluses. Then another important key area is building your grass coming into your autumn. Correcting quality issues. So as I spoke about earlier then, if you're cutting out surpluses, it gives you an opportunity then to correct paddocks, and apply fertiliser now. Apply it in August now when you're going to get the highest response from it, and also make use of your slurry. So whether that's on second cut or grazing ground, get it out.
Finally, Niamh, you'll be hosting a monthly beef grass update and sheep grass update for farmers with management tips and advice.
That's right, Catherine. So this is going to be released every Saturday, and we'll give you the most up-to-date grass advice and tips. It'll be a key tool in addition to our weekly Grass 10 newsletter, and they can also subscribe to the weekly Grass 10 newsletter on the Teagasc website.
That's great. Thanks very much, Niamh.
Thanks, Niamh.
Thank you.
That's all for this week's episode, and my thanks to Ciaran and Niamh for joining me on the show. You can catch up on all other shows and interviews from the Beef Edge podcast on the Teagasc website at teagasc.ie, or you can listen on Apple and Google Podcasts as well as Spotify. Don't forget to rate, review and subscribe so you never miss a show. For all other updates from our beef programme, keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook pages. Until next time, I'm Catherine Egan, and thanks for listening.